information they should have known, then she's got the links there for them. She's got some of the reminders about some of the key things that they talk about in the unit. She's got some templates. So, for example, one of the first assessment tasks is that they have to submit a project plan, which talks about things like the strengths and weaknesses of their group and what the project is and what they've identified about the client's needs. But she starts off with the assumption that they won't necessarily know how to write the first draft project plan. So she puts up a template to say, okay, when you're doing your draft plan, this is actually what you need to think about. And then the first assessment task, surprise, surprise, is that little group submitting a draft plan to her so that she can give them some very rapid feedback on how that plan's looking before they progress on to the next step. So it's a very scaffolded approach, just going through what the students are going to need to do. And she puts all those resources up there to scaffold that. Now, the second thing she has for them is a discussion forum. Again, it's nothing fancy. It's just using the Blackboard tool to say, all right, students, you're going to need a space to collaborate, again, because they're all dispersed all over the place. We also have quite a strong blended delivery presence at Macquarie, where some of her students, the same as some of my students, choose to come on campus and are enrolled as internal students. But there are quite a few who are distance education students. And so there'll be people who never come onto campus, and there'll be people who do come onto campus. And she set up this forum so that those two typically separate groups can collaborate. And there are discussion threads for the content of people solving the problems, so the technical stuff about software development, but also about things like processes with groups, processes for the actual project. So she sets up, because she's had experience with the students' difficulties of going through the process of learning, she sets up discussions to, again, provide an opportunity for students to collaborate, to scaffold each other, and for her to chime in as required. But most of it is around the students as participants in this learning community, rather than her being the knower of all things. And frequently asked questions can be great for that as well. You know, if the students need to know something and they're worried about some assessment task, they're not going to be on campus as often as other students. I should mention that she only has about 6 on-campus sessions across the whole year. So she has a very small number of on-campus face-to-face sessions, and most of the interactions happen online. There's a blog for them to reflect on their learning journey, and again, this is really directed towards all of those difficult to assess things, like the graduate capabilities, and the students are encouraged to reflect on that along the way. She has online submission of assignments, which is increasingly popular here. And we've just done a couple of studies here, one very small photoethnography and one quite large with 1,200 students responding online survey, looking towards the types of technology students want to use. And online submission of assignments featured very highly in both of those. And so the academics are starting to come on board to realise that, well, to quote one student, he got really irritated when he had to pay 12 cents per page to print out his big assignments that he'd done online using Word, and then he had to run across campus to drop it in some, hallway box somewhere, because that was part of what the requirement submission was for the assignment. So Debbie realises that online submission suits her students because they're off campus quite often. So all of the interim reports are submitted online, the templates are online, the feedback's provided online, which can lead to quite a quick turnaround. And then part of that quick turnaround is the use of these online rubrics. So she uses the rubrics to inform the students very clearly up front of the criteria that they need to do to present in this assessment task, and then to provide the feedback on how they went. So all of that is contained. Nothing's very fancy. she's been experimenting with wikis, which is a whole different, that's sort of a newer adaptation in this unit. And so she's just trying different things, but these are the types of things she uses as her general stock in trade because it meets the needs of the students and her own needs so comprehensively to use that list of technologies. So I might stop there and see if people have some comments. I mean, it looks so simple when you see it there, but what I love about it is that it just really is so integrated. All of the work is around encouraging students to use what they've learned, not on learning new things. And it's really complex thinking they have to apply. So Jeff, I'll stop talking and hand over to you.
Oh, no, thanks, Margot. No, the only comment I was going to make is I really agree with that point you made about the integration, because a lot of the online stuff doesn't have to be sophisticated, although some of the things that we will do, that we have talked about and will talk about throughout this series of webinars does actually involve some sophisticated things, and it's really nice to see those sophisticated things because we can see what's possible, but we need things that are actually within the grasp of mainline discipline-based academics who, with all reality, are not going to spend a huge amount of time developing entirely new ways of teaching. We'll have some people who will do that, but that will be more the specialists and the enthusiasts who will do that. So we absolutely need examples of things where people use relatively straightforward technology, relatively simple things to do, but they're used in an integrated, cohesive manner so that it actually makes sense to the students. Because the other side of all this is, what's the learning curve for the students in using all these new technologies to be able to achieve a particular task or to be able to get together and do the things that they need to do. So I think it's really nice to have examples of the non-sophisticated technologies, but used in a very effective way. So I think that's really good, and I just wanted to emphasise that.
Yes, thanks for that, Jeff. That's a great point. I was just mentioning to Matthew earlier on, I've just, as the final phase of my PhD study, I did a big survey across campus again to see what was happening with the technology. And here again, we had just off the top of my head, out of 180 respondents to the survey, the biggest by far aspects that academics used for assessment, the technologies they used for assessment in their units, were online quizzes and discussions. So they had, 50 or 60 people using those, whereas the really interesting tools that I started off exploring, the Web 2 tools like wikis and blogs and e-portfolios and virtual worlds, they had very small representation. And so that reinforced to me the need to show people examples of using even the really basic and simple tools in an effective way. So it's really good to keep both of those things in mind. I guess it comes back to Roger's diffusion of innovation, doesn't it? Where you do have the early adopters who want to see the cool things being used in very innovative ways. But you've got that big chunk in the middle of the bell curve that it's really good to just try and keep encouraging people to try something new that they can manage and that's not likely to mean that they have to redesign everything completely to see it developed in a virtual world, for instance. So